What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am BDLM coming to you with this very awesome episode 10 of Dota On Demand. I am here with my buddy J4Y and my other buddy Bonk. If anybody's been keeping up with those broadcast breakdowns,
Not broadcast.
well, not broadcast, but some of the original ones are. You shut your mouth. You may have seen them there. What is going on, gentlemen?
I'm going to speak first because, seniority. I'm
Can't
doing
even
well.
let the guests go first.
No,
Gee.
that's rude. No, I'm doing well, as you can see. You can see our lovely faces. Obviously, BDLM's is a little blurry,
Epic.
and you can only see him twice in a whole hour. But besides that, I'm doing well.
How you doing, Bonk?
I'm sick.
Fantastic. Cool. Good to hear.
Sounds like he's ready.
As you can see, he has the wonderful Ben Stein face for not having a webcam of his own, and then of course, for just that wonderful monotone that he's getting with that cold. But anyway, this podcast is going to be about Invoker and the patch that came along with him, all that awesome stuff, as well as some awesome good news we have for our little podcast. Finally got some stuff in the works. I have some of the files up on a server so we can get the audio hopefully up on iTunes this week. Been promising it for a while, but we finally have gotten some progress made on that. Also, the website is actually in construction. It's being made and programmed and all that wonderful, wonderful stuff. So hopefully in the very near future we'll have all that up and available for you guys.
And ladies.
And ladies. And children. Dogs, cats, ferrets. No badgers.
Definitely.
Anyway, the way we normally start things when we have these nice hero patches is we kind of recap some of the stuff from the other weeks. I actually messed up last week and said that Bash doesn't actually scale up with Spirit Breaker. Someone was nice enough in our comments of our last video to mention that, oh hey, it does. The stun duration gets a little bit longer. Do you guys have any kind of like closing thoughts on those heroes or anything that you may have, just experienced as you played through the last week? Either of you?
Bonk does.
Bonk
Okay.
does.
So I was playing a game, and Spirit Breaker was on our team. We'd Windrunner, and Windrunner shackled an enemy hero to a tree. Yay, Windrunner not sucking. And then Spirit Breaker ulted him, and when he did, he ended up like inside the enemy base, whereas all this combat was going on like in between the two bottom towers.
Very
So he
nice.
died, and I think we killed the other hero too. But awesome bugs.
He went
Yeah,
down
I'm
the
actually
I'm not sure if it's a shackle shot bug or just a bug. People say it happens.
well, there you go. The beta. There you go. I actually, it's a nice little segue in what I was thinking about. I actually got to play Spirit Breaker this week. Last time, I wanted to get around to playing him, but I just kind of never did, unfortunately. So I got to play him a couple times this week pretty successfully, and I think the thing I really noticed the most, and from playing it myself and then watching some other people play in pub games, it's really nice if you can get in a game with like a Windrunner, like a Venomancer, somebody that as soon as when you hit level 3 of Spirit Breaker, you get to charge the bash and then the aura to increase movement speed, you can start charging and going into other lanes, and the person you leave behind, hopefully that like Venomancer or Windrunner, they'll be able to hold the lane themselves and be able to solo really well even though you're not there. That's one thing I noticed. I forget who I was with. It was some support hero, but basically there was just nothing he could do, and I'd get to these other lanes and help generate some kills for myself and other people, but because I was leaving a support hero alone, there really wasn't a whole lot he could do to like slow down the other people's farm or to get any kind of farm for himself. So, if you have a buddy and you want to try and make some good Spirit Breaker combos, go ahead and convince them to go Veno or like Windrunner.
Yeah, I remember you talked about you wanted Terps to play or you were going to be Vino? One of you was going to be him. But yeah, it makes sort of sense. Like, he's not a hero you want to just sit in the lane and farm with. Like, I like getting those early levels at least till 6 maybe, but like past that mark, like he needs to gank. That's like his niche. Did I say that right? Niche. That's what he does well and like does best actually. And if you just in the lane and farm like some of our friends like to do, then you're really
Bonk.
not helping. No, definitely not. Well, anyways, you're not helping nearly as much as you should be by going across the map, and especially because he can go over the different terrain. Like that's why he's so good in Dota 2.
Yeah, as soon as I hit level 3, like I was going around like a nut, and it was definitely nice. I think both times I played him, managed to get like 3 or 4 kills up pretty early on, and I think it's really important though playing him. Like you said, that's his niche. That's what he's good at, and so you really need to take advantage of that early time when he's really at his strongest.
Absolutely. Bonk
Any
doesn't
other
play him, so he probably doesn't have too much to say about
any?
that.
Yeah,
How about
I like
some?
Spirit Breaker, you liar.
Good word choice.
Any other thoughts on him, or did you get to play Silencer at all this week, Craig?
Not really. He's kind of a sport hero, so I don't like him.
I
Dude.
say bull honky to that. my
I don't
good
play
sir.
that support.
I think he's a full-on carry personally. The way I play him, in my 4 losses, that's the way I like to play him.
Well, I would just like to point out that I have Bonk on here, in part because it was like, oh, we want to do something really special for episode 10, those nice double digits. But also we were thinking, well, whenever Invoker comes out, he's one of his favorite heroes, so he came on there for that. And I believe you started off at like what, 0-5 or 1-6, something like that.
I think I was 1-6. I don't know when I got the 1 win, but yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, doing well now. Been spectating some of your games. You're doing pretty good as him.
Yeah, I think I'm 12-10 or something. Still not as good as I'd like it to be. I was 12-9, and then my team just lost, so now I'm 12-10.
Yeah, there
Go
we go.
team.
Yes, go team, go. All right, well,
Oh, I lied.
guess
I'm
we'll-
14-10.
14. Oh, there you go. Gotta.
Bring it back.
Let's,
24 games in the whole, like, a couple days he's been out. The
Yeah,
weekend.
That's like
And
more than my total games almost. You're pretty much topped it.
That's a lot of games.
All right, let's get nice and introduced to Mr. Bonk. We've seen him a couple times in the breakdowns. If anybody's been tuning into those, if you haven't, you should. So here we go. We're gonna do a nice little
Hold on.
introduction. What?
Okay, go ahead. Your mic started going real down.
Real awesome. Oh yeah.
You know what? You should just really quick recall. I'll start talking. Just calm down. This
Hey.
doesn't normally happen. Look at this impressive. Wow, I like that picture better. We should just use that picture instead of his webcam. But
How's this? Better?
well, your voice is your video will come back. Just go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I figured let's get nice and introduced to Mr. Bonk. We're gonna go through a quick version of episode 1, if anybody remembers that. We just talked about the heroes we liked, the heroes we like to see coming up, the heroes we hope stay away for as long as it's humanly possible. So let's go. 30 seconds or less answers, Mr. Craig. Favorite hero, Dota 1 or Dota 2,
Ebo,
and why?
because he's awesome. I don't know. I guess he's kind of micro-intensive, and most people can't play him
There you
properly.
go.
So he's like the same way Invoker is.
Very true.
It's a hero that most people can't play, but when you play him properly, he's amazing.
There you go. Well, okay, so I guess this kind of covers that base. Just heroes in Dota 2 is your favorite.
Invoker.
And because of the same reason. You're really boring. I hate you so much.
He's
He is
awesome.
Ben Stein. He's not going to be like a thrilling answer.
Yeah, my picture's Ben Stein for a reason.
There you go. All right, how about heroes you don't want to see, or heroes you're like not excited at all about coming into the game?
Techies, who won't come out
Techies.
forever because Ice Frog's not retarded.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that
Like-
was kind of the consensus when we did it. This in episode 1 is like just techies.
no, that was your consensus. I was waiting for him to come in just so I could do the
I
Blink
think-
Dagger suicide comment.
Techies wasn't even like available in Dota 1, like when you played in actual mode.
That's true.
Like he wasn't even possible to pick unless you picked, I think, unless you played all pick.
Dude, he was available in pro games. I've seen him picked in pro games when I watched Dota 1 games. Not very often. It was mostly
but
trolling,
he's-
to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but he's awful because he's an awful hero.
He is probably the best hero to clear waves, though. Just saying.
You ever seen the video of armlet techies?
No,
Oh, God.
I can't say I
There's
have.
some high class play right there.
Jeez.
I bet it's pretty
That was a
fantastic.
30-second answer, right? Okay.
That's about, whatever. It's good enough. All right. I think I'm done with you now. Let's get into this crazy guy, Invoker. Do you want to just take us through his 4 basic abilities there, Jay?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to.
Great.
He does have 4, like you said. He is not a 3-legged... I'm not going to stop. His
you.
first ability It's called Quas. And if I mispronounce it, you can make fun of me later. Just let me finish. Quas. So basically, he has these 3 orbs at one time, and what he can do is mix and match, have 3 of one type, 2 of one, whatever he wants to do. But basically, he doesn't actually even have passive stats. He can't level up stats. He can only level up these 3 orbs and then his ultimate, which is called Invoke. But I'll get to that in just a tad bit here. So basically, what Quas does. It gives you passive health regen per instance of it, which is 1 and goes up 1 each level. And it gives a passive strength bonus as you level up the ability itself. Wex is the next one. It gives you attack speed and movement speed bonuses. 2% attack speed, 1% move speed per instance. That goes up 1%. Movement speed, 2% attack speed as you leveled up. And then that gives agility as your passive. Go figure. Exort, the next one. This is your damage. It gives you 3 bonus damage per instance. That goes up 3 each level. And then it gives you a passive int bonus, which, of course, since he's an int hero, also gives you more damage. And then finally, his ultimate, Invoke, which kind of makes him Invoker. You can get this at level 2. Great. I'm glad I knew that. You can get level 2, 7, 12, and 17. So you can level it 4 times. And basically, you combine, depending on your combination of which orbs you have active at that time, it invokes one of his 10 spells he has an option to invoke from. So, depending on the combination, he can choose which spell he has as access, and then he can cast that spell. Most of them have a pretty long cooldown. We'll get into that in a little bit. But that's the general overview.
There you go. I mean, because he has these 10 abilities he can basically combine his orbs into, figure we're just going to go down the list, things we think are interesting or fun. Start off with our nice guest, Mr. Bonk. What's your favorite, or what do you think is the most fun ability that he has?
I don't know about fun. I can go over like a basic story. Alright, so Invoker used to be played as Exort Wex way back in the day in Dota 1, blah blah blah. That's how I started playing in Dota 2. And it's terrible. Doesn't work. Basically, when you build Exort Wex, you get all your high damage moves, Chaos Meteor, and you get Deafening Blast, which means you put 1 point in Quas. And the idea is you throw a meteor and then you Deafening Blast someone, and they roll with the meteor as the meteor does damage. But like I said, it doesn't really work anymore for reasons.
Good choice of one spell. I like it.
They, you know what? I hate you. The most fun spell is Cyclone, because you can snipe the crap out of people.
Would you like to explain some general things about Tornado, perhaps?
Okay. Generally, when you build Cyclone, you build Wex, Quas. You see a lot of people actually building like almost exclusively Wex. They put 1 point in Quas and 1 point of Exort, and then put everything else into Wex until Wex is maxed out.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing we kind of forgot to mention was that as you're leveling up Quas, Wex, and Exort, it gives different abilities, different increases, either damage, duration, range, stuff like that.
Right, right. So, like for Cyclone, as you level, it requires 2 instances of Wex and 1 instance of Quas. So, and then you invoke it, and it does damage based on Wex and Quas, and it throws people up into the air as if they had been Yulesed. And that duration is based on Quas, and then its distance and how far it travels is based on Wex. The way it works is the travel distance based on Wex. It starts at 800, goes up 400 every level of Wex, ending at 3,200.
That's a lift time, crazy long range.
Yeah, it's really long. You can snipe the crap out of people. It's awesome. The lift time is 0.8 to 2.5, so it goes up every 0.3 every level of Quas. It has a base damage of 77.5, so if you, no matter how many orbs you have and how many levels of the orbs, I mean, it always does 77. And then it starts at 23 and increases by 23 damage based on each level of Quas and Wex. So if you have 1 level of Quas and 2 levels of Wex, it's 23 plus 46 plus the base of 77.5.
There you go. Alright, Jay, do you... Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Alright, yeah, I mean, I figure we can just kind of roll through all these abilities and then, talk about how they interact with one another. Jay, do you have an ability that you
I want
particularly
to talk
like?
about Chaos Meteor
Do it.
because I love this ability, unlike other people. Basically, it requires 2 Exort and 1 Wex instance. Actually, that's what it's calling it, not orb, but instances, but whatever. So if you have this active and then you invoke, you get the spell Chaos Meteor, which costs 200 mana, has a 55-second cooldown, massive cooldown. And then it has basically what happens is you target an area, and then eventually a Chaos Meteor is going to fall from the sky, hit that area, do AoE damage, and then continue rolling, and then leave this trail of fire, which does damage. So, that being said, it has a main radius of 275. It does damage per 0.5 seconds based on Exort. The additional damage per second is also based on Exort. So all its damage obviously comes from Exort. And then the range, so the distance it rolls after it lands, is based on the Wex level. It starts at 465, can go all the way up to 1400 range. The damage, I believe, starts kind of low. Doesn't it start at it's 55, and then that can go up to 145 per 0.5 seconds. Okay, so I think it does upwards like 200 or 300 damage when it lands, and then it does damage per second. So overall, it's like kind of like your big nuke if you would have one on Invoker. That would be it. However, it is really, I guess its weakness is how hard it is to land on people, especially higher skilled players, because it takes a little while to actually land, and it's a very slow falling meteor, and then when it rolls in a straight line, so you can just simply move to the side and you won't even be affected by that damage.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Like you said, it's kind of hard to like line up and stuff, but I think the move I'm most interested to see if it becomes, or how it interacts with the game, is the Sunstrike ability. It requires 3 instances of Exort, 175 mana cost, 30-second cooldown with 175 area of effect. Starts off with a base damage of 100, and then goes up to 475. This is targetable anywhere on the map, and also has a small delay of 1.7 seconds. Does damage at that point, split among however many people get hit. I think it's really interesting too, Craig. You played Kog'Maw quite a bit in League of Legends. I think it's funny that you're also now playing this hero that has sort of a similar long-range snipe ability. And I've actually seen you get a couple of kills with snipe from crazy far away.
Yeah, Sunstrike's awesome, but I don't really build Exort. I wish it was still viable. It is viable. I suppose if you have a heavy CC team, because like Jay was saying with Chaos Meteor, all of his Exort moves just do so much damage.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I saw you today, actually. You were playing with our buddy Orange, who we've seen on breakdowns before. There's the potential to have, Hook, Devour, and then have the Sunstrike ability with that. I can see you taking out somebody so quickly with that. So, yeah, I think that'd be interesting, trying to run him with CC heavy team. I can imagine Shackles from Shadow Shaman too, being able to line up a lot of this stuff as well. And then actually Windrunner Shackle Shot would be really good for that meteor as well.
I was thinking also Enigma Black Hole or not Chronos. Wow. Faceless Void. Either of those. Something you can just hold in place for 4 or 5 seconds. Or Magnetar when he gets implemented finally.
Oh.
Whenever that is. Oh man. I just wanted to say about the Sunstrike that I actually didn't know it was spread evenly until you just read that off. And that explains a lot for me because I've tried to pick off so many people with it. And I see it hit, but I'm like, how did that not kill him? It's supposed to do so much damage. That explains a lot.
Yeah, so it legit is like a sniper shot. You have to hit the one person
to
be able to take him out. What's another one of your favorite abilities, Craig, or one we haven't talked about yet?
All right. Well, the next, the partner of Cyclone, which is used again in pretty much all the higher skill games, is EMP. It's 3 instances of Wex to summon, and it's like I said, it's like the bread and butter, Cyclone and EMP. The way it works is you drop a charge, more or less. It's just like a glowing purple thing on the ground. And after X amount of seconds, based on, obviously, your skill in Wex, it explodes in a 675 radius and drains mana, and then does damage based on the mana drained. It does 50% damage based on mana drain. Its charge time starts at 3.7 and goes all the way down to 2. It doesn't look like it scales. No, it doesn't scale completely evenly, but it's pretty close. It's about every like zero point 0.3 every level of Wex the charge time reduces by. And then the mana burn starts at 100 and goes to 400. It goes up by 50 each level. So last level, you can drain 400 mana from, I don't know, maybe half their team. And on like carry heroes, heavy agility like carry heroes, like a Faceless Void or something who relies on his mana to blink, it can be a huge like game breaker for him.
You think too somebody like Tide Hunter, like being able to take out all that mana before he can Ravage or something like that could be potentially huge. Especially with other strength heroes too that really don't have a large mana pool to rely on. Being able to take out that much mana, pretty significant.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw in there, like, I'm kind of noticing, except for Tornado, like, that's probably, like, one of the few exceptions, like, all these abilities have, like, a really long, like, caster charge time kind of component to them, like, that, I guess maybe that goes along with this big arsenal of spells, is, like, they have long cooldowns for the most part, and, like, really long cast time, so you really do have to be, like, I guess aware of how long it's going to take and be really good at lining those up, otherwise you're really not going to do, like, nearly as much damage as you can in fights, or maybe that just stresses even more how important a heavy CC team is for him. I guess. I don't know.
Do you want to go for? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The entire hero really is just based around, his ult. It's Invoke, and with that, it's even more so around his Scepter because his Scepter removes the mana cost of Invoke and reduces the cooldown dramatically. So the entire hero relies on, I don't know, I guess, knowing the cooldown of the spells.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's very true. And you didn't really think about that. Being able to realize when you can kind of get that ability back up. So if you invoke a skill that's still on cooldown, that's kind of a big drawback.
Yeah, it's still on cooldown. It doesn't reset if you just re-invoke it once it's off your bar. So you gotta kind of, I don't know, just keep note of it somehow. It's just kind of something that you do eventually.
Interesting to note, when you pick up that Augment Scepter, at the last level, the cooldown is only 2 seconds on Invoke. So that's potentially a lot of moves you could wind up threading together through the course of a team fight.
Absolutely. But you have to be really... You have to know what the combinations are, which is my weakness, but
Yeah. Do you have an ability you want to talk about, Jay?
No, I hate all of them. I'll talk about Deafening Blast. No, I won't talk about Deafening Blast. Because those are literally the 2 spells I know. Chaos Meteor and Deafening Blast. So this one is the one that uses one instance of all 3, Quas, Wex, and Exort. And basically what it does is he unleashes a mighty sonic wave in front of him, does damage to all the enemies based on the level of Exort. It knocks them back and I guess disarms them as well. So the stun duration, or I guess how far they knock back, that's based on Quas. The attack prevention duration is based on Wex, and then of course, like I said, the damage based on Exort. That's a 40-second cooldown, also 200 mana cost, so another mana-intensive spell. But you got to figure, if you're trying to go for a damage build, that you're leveling up Exort anyways. I know Craig said he didn't like that build, but I do, and therefore you're getting passive in anyways. So the mana cost is not such a huge deal when you do build that way. I don't know. What do you guys think about that spell?
Well, I think the disarm is huge. Especially because you get that little knockback, but you still have all that time disarmed. It's a really nice ability against, obviously, the agility carries. So it's just really nice to have that kind of counter built into Invoker.
Craig, anything?
And the nice thing about Deafening Blast, if you do build Wex Quas over Exort, even if you don't build an Exort and you put 1 point in it, Deafening Blast still has its CC capabilities from Wex and Quas. So even if you're Wex and Quas, it's even still worth using.
It's very true.
Despite it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely main purpose is that both knockback and the disarm instead of the damage. Because the damage, it's not bad by any means, especially if you level Exort, but the knockback can like interrupt all the channeled spells and let your team run away. Like it's got so many great purposes to it.
Yeah, the knockback does interrupt, which is cool.
Yeah, indeed.
I think one of the more interesting abilities, one of the ones when I started seeing it used, I was like, oh, that's kind of strange.
Hold
is
on,
that
hold on. You've got to call back. I don't know what's going on with your mic, buddy.
Oh, well,
But
it's...
you got to call back. Sorry. Are you hearing this too, Craig?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Oh,
don't know. Hey, buddy.
He's just bad. It's okay.
I don't know. I
I
really
don't
wish
know
I
what's
knew
going
what
on
was
either,
going
but it's
on.
all good. You're good. Go ahead.
Excellent. Maybe for another, 5 minutes I can get by.
Let's hope.
Ghost Walk, I think, is a really interesting ability. You have to have 2 instances of Quas and 1 of Wex, and this will allow you to become invisible. It will also slow you and slow people around you, like enemy units around you. The enemy slow goes from 20% to 40%, and the self-slow goes from 30% down to 0. I thought it was kind of an interesting spell because at the really low levels, it's really obvious when you're slowing other people. And because you move slower, I thought it was kind of funny that the enemy team could actually really use this to their advantage. They could really just follow you around if they have any AoE abilities to try and take you out. It's a nice escape, but it does have some drawbacks until that self slow really does get down to 0%.
Did you talk about the duration?
Nope.
2 minutes.
Yep. So quite a while. Definitely enough time to get out of harm's way.
I mean, I don't have too much to say about this. I definitely when I first read about that, and actually I've seen it happen when you have those things low level. Like they totally know where you are still, and like if you don't have that leveled up, like just so many times you're still gonna die, and it's just really unfortunate because it gives you away, you know.
It is nice, even though he doesn't have like a kind of blink ability or any really quick way out. This is still like an escape mechanism on a mage, which is still very nice to have.
Yeah, the only thing you have working for you is the fact that ore is kind of sticky in this game. Whereas if you walk away from somebody, the slow will actually persist on them for an extra like second or whatever. So you
That's
have
pretty
like
cool.
a little bit of time before they actually realize that you're not near them anymore. That's just the way. I mean, they're like all like Windrunner's Wind Run, the slow effect, it was actually changed in the patch, not the like most recent one because that was just like the fix Invoker. But the other one, like the sticky effect, the aura is 2.5 seconds instead
Wow.
of whatever the default is.
Yeah, it's when you're talking about leveling Quas and Wex, it's Wex that actually reduces the penalty on Ghost Walks. It goes from 30% down to 0.
Yeah, and that makes sense too because that's your move speed instance. So not only are you moving, not slow, but now you're even moving faster. If you have those instances up, like you can just move so fast. That'd be pretty sweet.
Can you change your instances while you're invisible without breaking it?
No.
Oh,
it
whoops.
breaks.
Never mind.
Okay. Well, there you go.
If you do anything, it breaks.
Gotcha.
Dumb.
Why can't you just stay invisible
Why can't
forever?
you just
This is
meteor?
stupid.
That's
You could set up so many things. That'd be hilarious. It's invisible. Hold on. Let me set up some skeleton. Rah! How about another ability, Craig? You want to pick another one off the list?
Okay, another ability that I would use part of the Quas. When I build Quas Wex, like I said, a lot of people build like almost exclusively Wex, whereas I actually build Quas up to 5 and then go into Wex.
Oh.
And then with that, I use Cold Snap, which is like completely amazing. The way it works is you cast it on somebody and it hits them with a stun, more or less. It's a like half second. It's 0.4 second stun. And then the duration of the Cold Snap effect is 3 seconds. And every time he gets hit by any like damage that's over, I think, 10, it's not in the tooltip, but it won't like keep applying if anything does less than 10, I think. And if it hits anything for more than 10, it'll freeze him again for 0.4 seconds on a cooldown based on the level of Quas, because it's used 3 instances of Quas to cast. The cooldown on the freeze goes from 0.77 to zero point 0.6. So essentially, if he's taking constant damage, there'll only be it'll affect pretty much once every second, every zero point 0.6 seconds, which is a 1 second duration in total. And then the duration of Cold Snap in its entirety of the spell is 6 seconds, and it does 30 extra damage every time the freeze affects. So it's like an amazing ganking single target, like pseudo CC, since it's not exactly a hard CC, but it slows people down like big time.
So essentially, it's like Malefice, but it can be better. Like Enigma's Malefice. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like Enigma's Malefice, except it doesn't tick automatically. You have to trigger it to stun.
Okay.
You have to trigger it with damage.
Yeah, it's one thing to kind of notice. I mean, Invoker really doesn't have just like a straight up stun or a straight up CC. It seems like most of them either like takes the person out of combat, like with Tornado, or you have this Cold Snap where it's kind of this like really short duration stuns. They're really only useful for interrupting.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember you guys were in a game and BDLM you were playing Axe, and Bonk was like, dude, we have the most broken combo ever because you put Cold Snap on and you would put a Battle Hugger on him, and he would be like constantly stunned for that duration. I thought that was pretty cool.
That, like Venomancer, I mean, you think the
Does Radiance Burn do it?
Radiance Burn should. It's any damage. From creeps, from heroes, anything. Any damage.
Wow. Radiance Invoker.
I mean, that would work with like Weaver Swarm too. I mean, there'd be some pretty awesome stuff you'd have going there too. Very interesting.
Interesting indeed, and it's my turn. Back to me. Give me the ball.
It's yours.
Yeah. Yes. All right. I guess I'll keep going with the Exort stuff because that's all I talk about. Forged Spirit. I'm not good with this one, but I'll go ahead and say it anyways. Basically, this requires 2 Exorts and 1 Quas instance. And what it does is it summons a Forged Spirit. Only one until both Quas and Exort are level 4. Then it summons 2 when you cast it. It's a 30-second cooldown, 75 mana cost. And then the Forged Spirit's duration, total mana, and attack range are all based on Quas. And its damage, health, and armor are based on Exort. Wow, I think that's why I never use it well, is because I never play right. Anyways, so essentially, it's only got 20-second duration at the first rank of Quas, and it goes all the way up to 80, which is super long. And then the mana goes from 100 to 400. The reason, by the way, for the mana, he has this like auto-casting spell, which I believe that's one that does damage and reduces armor. Yeah, it's an attack modifier that reduces enemies' armor by 1 per hit, and that costs 40 mana for him. So, at the last rank, if he can reduce armor, I guess, up to a maximum of 10 for 5 seconds. So that can actually be really effective if they're just beating on someone. And then, the attack range goes all to 900. That's really far range. And then the damage up to 83, health up to 900. I mean, these are pretty impressive stats, actually. And I remember when I was messing around Dota 1 way while back, and people played Invoker. I never really realized how good it is to use these things until I just got crushed by the people that played Forge Spirit early on, because they not only do you have that pushing presence, but you have so much domination in your lane if you play that way. I don't know, you guys might disagree, but I think it can be a really impressive way to start out a game.
Forge Spirit's also really powerful with Cold Snap, which you get when you level 4 and 4 Exort Quas, because you got 2 more things attacking a target, applying the effect of Cold Snap. So
very true.
Yeah, I mean, you're leveling Exort too to get this, so you're getting more damage yourself and getting more intellect to do more damage, so I can imagine your auto attacks, even as a cast, really starting to hurt quite a bit. And of course, if you have any agility carries on your team, you're going to be significantly increasing the amount of damage that they can do to enemies as well.
Yeah, so all around, really good ability. And then that summoning 2 just makes it that much better when you get those up to level 4. So yeah, that's pretty nifty. I don't see it come out from Craig's side too often because he goes bad build, but Yeah.
I've been meaning to play it, but you really need to have middle. I mean, if you take middle, and you go exort Quas, it's actually really hard to play against Invoker because
Yeah.
he just sicks the summons on you, and you have pretty much have to back off until they die.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot like having Beastmaster's Boar up too. I mean, that obviously slows, but just having a little bit of damage, it really starts to hurt the person you're laning against. You can get a lot of control out of that, and you think too, even if you're running to go get like the runes and stuff, trying to control that, you can have your forward spirit still sitting in the lane trying to last it for you if you really feel like microing it.
Yeah.
There you go. I guess I will pick this nice little round robin. I don't know. With Ice Wall. It involves 2 Quasses and an Exort, and it'll drain a wall of solid ice directly in front of Invoker for up to 12 seconds. This will greatly slow enemies based on Quas and deal 42 damage each second based on Exorts. This actually seems like another ability that would be really useful with some CC, like Bonk was saying earlier, because of the damage leveling up with Exort. If you have that extra CC, it's a lot of damage. The damage per second goes up to 42. I believe I actually already said that.
Yeah.
Duration goes up to 12. The slow goes up to 140%. So,
Wow.
what do you think about this ability?
Craig.
Yeah.
It's really kind of like underused, honestly. It's really, really potent. And the reason it's not used so much is because when you summon the Ice Wall, you don't get to choose where it summons. It summons almost directly in front of your hero. So either you have to be behind enemy lines or right up on the front line. And Invoker, in the early stages of the game, and even the later stages, is generally not a very tanky hero. Like, I'm just messing around in a single-player game right now. 47 minutes in, I have a Scythe, a Scepter, and a Shiva's, and I only have 1,800 health.
Yeah. Pretty squishy. Dude, there's your combo, though. We were trying to think of things to Ghost Walk with. You just
There you
Ghost
go.
Walk in.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
play
yeah.
your Ice Ball. Boom.
The only problem with that is you have to have them both invoked before you Ghost Walk, because
true.
obviously you can't change which spells you have while you're Ghost Walking.
Yeah. I believe that leaves us with only one ability left, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Craig gets Alacrity.
There you go. The
Alacrity.
first and the last, my friend. There you go.
It's I actually use this kind of a lot. It doesn't get used too often, I think, but it's really good. It increases attack speed and damage of the target that you cast it on. So, like, if you have a hard carry on your team, like a sniper or something, especially a sniper, because he benefits so much from attack speed with headshot. It's 2 instances of Wex and 1 instance of Exort, and it scales attack speed and damage based on each attack speed being from Wex. Starts at 20, goes to 80, 10% per level of Wex, and the bonus damage is 20 and goes to 80, which is 10 based on level of Exort. It's actually the lowest cooldown spell he has at 15 seconds with a 100 mana cost.
And it can target siege units.
Boom.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Really?
Dude, you can increase the damage of a cannon by 80 and give 80% attack speed.
That's actually pretty
baller.
sick. Pop out your forward spirits, just go to town on a tower. Oh,
He's
man.
a pusher in disguise, man. I'm telling you. So,
Yeah, I mean,
Matt, go ahead. What do you think about Alacrity?
obviously very useful if you have carries on your team. I didn't realize that about the catapults. That's actually really cool. Those catapults do so much damage to towers, plus 80% attack speed. That's crazy good. I mean, well, now we've gone through all these spells, we can actually kind of talk about Invoker as a hero and how he works. I mean, do you just want to talk about how you? I mean, you've already said you like to go Quas Wex. What kind of items do you like to pick up on Invoker, and what general spells you really like running around with?
If you're going like I said, my build, you can pick up Drum early, because if you're going to be playing a Wex Quas build or mostly a Wex build, you're going to have really high attack speed, movement speed already, and then if you pick up Drum, it just helps it even more so, and you can actually run down people really, really well. But I level Quas to, like I said, 5. And in there, you get 2 levels of Wex, or you can get 1 level of Wex and 1 level of Exort, depending on what you need in the particular situation. And that's, speaking of that, it's like the best part of Invoker. He's all about what you need, because he has no one build. He can build, so many different ways just because he has 10 different spells. But regardless, his main item you need to get on him is Scepter. If you don't get Scepter, I mean, you're just hindering the heroes so much. And then other than that, you can get a variety of other like kind of support items, Sheepstick and all that. I've seen people play him as like a carry. Like this one guy I played where he picked him before me because picking Invoke is pretty much just a rush, so you can pick him fastest. He went like Mask of Madness and Daedalus, and it was like
Daedalus. Oh my god.
like it does a lot of damage, but you don't get any of his spells, and
that was gonna be one of my troll builds, dude. That was gonna be one of them.
it's
right
like
there.
an entirely a troll build. You don't like use the hero to his potential. You just turn him into an auto attack hero, and it's like a crime, a crime against Invoker.
Yeah, all these abilities, it's like he can be side lane solo, he can be solo mid, he can be a support hero, he can be a pusher, he can be a ganker. He can really fill any kind of role that you really need him to, except for, I guess, tank, the one thing he can do. But as a mage, I guess I can expect that.
Yeah, definitely. And he can jungle really well at all.
Well, dude, I don't know. Have you tried those Forge Spirits?
You need level 2 at least for that.
Well, 3, because you'd have to... Wait,
No,
yeah,
2.
because you'd have to...
Oh,
invoke.
3.
There you go.
3 it is. Okay.
You could be one of those silly jungles who like gets into the game and they're like, I'm gonna jungle, but I'm gonna leech your experience to level 3 because I don't think
you
my
hate
traits
those
are strong
people?
enough level 1. Oh, I
those
do
people
so
suck.
much.
I know.
Anyway.
That's off topic. I do like your build, and I definitely agree. I've only played him once. It might have been a co-op or CI game, but that's not important. What's important is that I did get to try out my cool build, and I do completely agree that Scepter is like a staple in his build, regardless of any kind of way you play him. Just for the sheer fact that not only does it reduce the mana cost to 0, which is so nice when all these things are kind of mana intensive in the first place, but yeah, also bringing that ulti down a major amount of cooldown. Like you said, the last rank goes down to 2 seconds. I mean, if you're good enough to juggle your orbs and like keep invoking the spells after you use them, then that I guess that just ramps up with your skill. Like the better you are at doing it, the better more damage and more CC and everything you'll bring to the table. I am definitely not that kind of player. I am maybe good at getting 3 to 4 spells. Like, that's all I can do right now. Maybe if I kept playing them, I don't know, 25 times or something, like some people, like I'd be getting a little better or something like that. But, no, I definitely think that that's just like a great staple. The way I build him, which is, you might call troll-ish, I like to go the Exort and then into, well, I kind of, focus Exort, and then I'll go maybe into Wex more over Quas. And Chaos Meteor is my bread and butter. I've always loved that spell.
Of course.
I know it's a minute cooldown, but I just think it does so much damage. And if you can line it up right, it's pretty amazing. Then that with Deafening Blast, there's like my signature moves there. Because also the Deafening Blast, if you can line that up and then cast Chaos Meteor, like they'll get knocked back and it kind of throws them off a little stun there. So, you can line those abilities up. Also, if you go Yules on him, you can actually line up Chaos Meteors really well, depending on how well you are at casting the Yules, then timing that meteor into hit just as they come down from it. That's my favorite combination.
Boom. There you go.
Drop
Yeah, I think
it.
the other cool thing about Augment Scepter, too, if you're thinking doing something like Craig's build where you're not putting the points in Exort, you don't have that extra intellect to give you the, just maximum mana and then, of course, the mana regen. So, yeah, getting rid of that, even though it's only 20 to 80 mana cost at last rank, I think very important.
Definitely. Especially when you're doing it every 2 seconds. I mean, that
Yeah.
would be pretty mana intensive at that point.
For sure, for sure. I mean, obviously, I think we're thinking probably best to run him solo. Yeah, consensus.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually a really good babysitter, too, depending on how you build him. If you build him Quas, he's an amazing babysitter, because he's pretty much impossible to out-harass, because if you have 3 instances of Quas up, based on, whatever level it is, if it's level 3, then you have 9 HP regen a second passive. I mean, like, how do you out harass that?
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed when you were playing it. It gets so high the amount of health regen he has. I mean, it's obviously nothing close to what any other ints can get. I mean, even you think like Witch Doctor has his voodoo regeneration, but I mean that is so much regen for a mage. It's kind of crazy. Even when you're running him solo, you can really trade hits pretty easily and just keep that control and stick in there. And I could see it being very difficult to have a hard time staying in for some gold and experience.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that when you were talking about that, and I think he could be a really great booster. Also, if you're maxing out like the Quas and for that cold snap, obviously that's a really nice CC, and then on top of that, you get some levels in Wex, and you get that tornado. Like you're bringing a lot to your lane just in those two spells alone. Like I think he definitely has a lot of great sides there. The only problem with him being a baser is like I think he does so well with items, and that's why I don't know if I really like him in that role as much.
Yeah, he's hard to play without a scepter late game.
Yeah.
I could definitely imagine that. I mean, why do you think Drums of Endurance is so key? I've seen you build it every single time. I know you already said it's nice to just kind of stack up that movement speed, but I mean, do you think that's something based on situation, or is that something that you just go to every time?
I mean, sometimes I build it, sometimes I don't. It's pretty standard in my build though, just because of the way it stacks with Wex. Since I always build Wex. I mean, if I were to not to build Wex, if I were to build like the Forged Spirit build, I definitely would. Well, even then, I might think about getting it because it'll affect your Forged Spirits. I don't know. I mean, it's just something I like. It's a good support item for the team, and it helps the hero itself. So I don't see why I shouldn't get it.
Yeah. I think the most we actually see it in professional games on like the push teams where you're going back and forth between lanes. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely a support hero, even not on push teams, have definitely looked to build that item because it's just good in general. Just the base stats and then movement speed, always nice to have.
Yeah, I just also, wow, this is actually off topic, so hope you're done.
Great, thank you.
What is 95% of the time, what boot type will you build? And why?
On Invoker or on anybody?
Probably Invoker since we're talking about him for 40 minutes. I don't know.
Face boots always.
And why is that?
Well, this involves around a Wex build again. It's just movement speed and damage, since Wex increases attack speed as well.
Okay.
So you do more damage and you move like really fast. Like you could run down pretty much any hero as Invoker with Wex, 3 instances of Wex up.
Yeah, the other thing too, you have the tornado. If you can get that shot from really far away, that'll give you plenty of time to catch up to somebody too. It's really interesting.
Yep.
I've really thought of him as like a chase down type hero, but
yeah, he's good at chasing because of his movement speed.
I mean, what else do you think he brings to the table that like you can't really get out of other heroes? Because that's kind of my problem when I think about him. It's like he's a lot of pieces to a puzzle, but what is he really particularly good at? I'm wondering if you're looking for a pusher, why wouldn't you just go for like a Shadow Shaman or something?
The way most people build him is Wex, and that's because he brings the 400 mana drain and then very very large AoE, 625 I think it was. I mean, 400 mana, it's like huge, and I don't think any other hero in the game even has an AoE mana burn, or even a single target mana burn, unless you count Animage's auto attack.
Just wait for Nerubian Assassin. Yeah.
There you go.
Until Nerubian comes out.
Lion has the mana drain.
That's true.
I think those are the only ones.
But nothing on the scale of.
Yeah, nothing on the scale of what he brings.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of Invoker too is being able to line up those spells well. Between EMP, Tornado, and then of course the Chaos Meteor. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really particularly useful to line up. I mean, you could also think Tornado and then laying down that ice wall too could be really useful.
Yeah.
I like you said, he brings a lot of like diverse things. Like I don't think he fills a specific thing. He's just really good at a lot of different things, and that's probably why he is so effective the way he does, because he is so He's able to adapt to the situation. He can escape if he needs to. He can CC. He can do huge AoE burst damage. I don't really actually think he has a weakness at all, except that he's going to be focus fired right away.
It's funny. It's like his only weakness is how strong he is.
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to use all of his moves effectively and know what situation, which move is going to be best, and have all the combinations down pat so you can just summon them up as soon as possible. I think that might be the only problem you might have competitively is, if you have somebody that's so good at him that it's that big of a deal, then he might just get banned out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess we'll go into it, but as far as like the professional scene goes, at least I can go back to the Dota 1 games. He was banned every game in the first 2 bans, like easily. And it's really not a surprise, especially at the high level play that those professionals bring. I mean, they're so good at being ready to adapt to whatever situation, having the things ready to go, and just like we said, since he has that huge ability, he can do whatever he wants to do. He can CC. I've said it a million times, but the point is, he doesn't really have that weakness. So I mean, it just makes so much sense that he should be banned out every game. And if he isn't, what do you use to counter him then? Like, who are you going to throw up against him to really slow him down? I mean, the only real logical thing you can do, I guess, in that point is to go and send, like sometimes you see 2 go mid or something. I don't know. Maybe it's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking about that crazy health regen you can get from Quas, and that stayability he has in the lane, and then even the movement speed from Wex, so definitely hard to deal with. If you think now, in the current meta, you have Anti-Mage, Prophet, Broodmother, Night Stalker, from time to time Lich you'll see in that first round of bans, so we have the potential to see one of those heroes really come back and be pickable if Invoker is kind of this insta-ban in Dota 2 as it was in Dota 1.
Any thoughts, Craig Zor?
Yeah, they have to add him to captain's mode, though.
That's true.
That is true. We
He's
still have
not in
another
yet.
figure what Thursday, right? So we still have another 2 days, and
They
then
might
we'll
not.
know.
I don't
What
know,
seems like
we'll see.
I mean, they just added the other 2, right? They added the Spirit Breaker Silencer in this patch, so I think I could give it at least
This
a
week?
couple weeks to let it sink in, and maybe see if there's any more bugs or anything they want to tweak.
That's true. We did mention that as of Thursday, he wasn't getting the stats right when you leveled up Quas, Wex, and Exort, and that was fixed on Friday, so that's no longer a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, Invoker's, I guess you could say his only weakness is his early game. While he does have that escape, it costs, like you said, 200 mana. It's a very large amount early game to try to invoke that. Not to mention, early game your Invoke has a 21-second cooldown, then 17, then 12. So if you catch him after he invoked a spell, I mean, there's not much he can do to try to get away.
Very good point.
Yeah.
That's more to the point of why you need Scepter.
Yeah. I think the other thing, too, is because you're also getting slowed yourself until you get the higher levels at, I mean, you're wasting kind of a lot of time. Even though you are stopping yourself from dying, it's going to take in some situations, a significant time to get to a safe enough position where you can uncloak and then run at regular speed. There you have it.
I don't know. I think we should have probably said people's names if we wanted someone to say something after that. I'm not used to a 3-way, man. I'm just.
Well,
It's taking a while to warm up to it for me. I'm just
kind of shy like that.
I'm a little gun shy,
There you go. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
especially Ben Stein.
Oh, the Ben Stein.
Realize-
I was waiting for your line all day. It's been like an hour. What are you doing over there?
Wow.
I wish, like, as soon as you said, "Oh, we should totally have a Ben Stein picture," I had the one of the commercial where he's singing with like the beach ball.
Yes.
He's in like the terrible striped shirt and the shorts.
Dude,
It's like,
that's the only thing I can imagine. Unfortunately, I didn't see that in the first 10 images I googled. I was way too
Terrible.
lazy to go beyond that. But
so
sorry,
unfortunate.
gotta deal with it.
I mean, so does anybody else have any kind of other thoughts? Any things we haven't hit that are kind of interesting to bring up this hero?
I mean,
Excellent.
I mean, I would like to see more variations of builds on him. I think there's still so much more potential that people haven't quite unlocked. Maybe in pro games they have, but at least in the pub games, or I guess every time I play one, I see Craig's build, so it's a little boring. But I think there's definitely a lot of different variations. Like you said, you saw the auto attack one. I think there's potential for that. And, I mean, just like the way all his abilities are rounded off, there is so many different directions you can go, and I really am curious to see if more people try, just see what works. Like maybe more focused on Alacrity and just like make him a crazy attacker, or I don't know, but I do love how many possibilities he has to be built. That's why I think he's such a fun hero.
Yeah, I think definitely the longer he's out, the better we're going to see people play him, because he's probably the most complicated hero there is to play, and so there you go. I mean, I guess you
Even
could say Craig, Meepo.
I think even more than Meepo.
I want to play Meepo.
Techies might be the most complicated, but I mean,
Hopefully in the future we'll see less people playing Invoker, because
so you can pick him more.
A lot of people are not very good.
No,
with him.
definitely not. But you have to expect them to try.
People are like, "Oh my God, new hero! Let's pick him! Oh God, he's so complicated. I'm terrible. We lose."
Yeah.
I'm never gonna pick him. Like straight, like I want to. Like the more and more I thought about like all these abilities he has, where he could be really good support, just like I couldn't do it. Not even gonna try. Hitting the Poison Gale on Venomancer is the single most complicated thing that I can manage to do on the regular basis. So I'm just not even gonna touch it. Not even.
That is very tough, sir.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what do you have any interest in picking up Force Staff on him or anything, Craig, or do you think that the run speed and stuff is enough?
I saw a guy get Blink Dagger, but
nice.
They were winning so hard that I have a feeling he was just trolling.
Also hard, dude. You blink in, you ice wall,
yeah,
and then
that's
they're dead.
The only thing I could think of why you'd want Blink Daggers for ice wall, and other than that, it's. What other
Blink
positional
in,
things do you really have that you need?
Turn invisible.
I was gonna say, do the Ghost Walk or whatever, and you just you're all slow. What up? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
That is pretty terrible. The Blink, I don't know. Blink Ice Wall EMP, you'll catch some people right there.
Yeah. Or you could just stay in the back, Cyclone EMP.
Well, okay,
And
stop
not
calling it
spend-
Cyclone. It's Tornado.
Whatever,
We are
and not-
different weather patterns here.
Not-
You gotta get
not
on
spend-
board with mine, okay?
Not spend the 2,000 gold on a Blink Dagger and put it towards something
Dude,
better.
2050. Or is it 2100?
2150.
It's actually 2050.
Technicalities.
You're
Even though
wrong.
I saw you out on one. That's whatever.
Oh,
And that's
there you go.
Oh,
Always run seamlessly with no problems, ever.
mhm.
I had something to say and I forgot it.
I'm
Just to
glad you
add on to the
forgot.
the chain fail that we have going on.
Hey,
Pretty nice.
before
I like
we
it.
all carried away with Invoker completely and absolutely, don't forget about Tiny.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
We did.
that's why we brought you here.
That's
the
why.
whole
Not to talk
reason.
about the hero, but
Wow.
wow.
Yes. As we see in the changelog, Tiny was finally enabled his Aghanim Scepter, which reminds me of this one time I was watching a game a while ago where this guy built the scepter, and it wasn't implemented yet, and so it didn't do anything. And I felt so bad for that guy. But for those of you who don't know, it allows him to pick up a tree. I don't know if you actually start with the tree.
I think you
now in
just
Dota
get
2.
it.
Just get the tree. Gives you cleave and bonus damage to towers, which is actually pretty significant amount of damage. So really
It
kind
also
of gives
gives you-
him.
Bonus range
Yeah.
and
there you go.
more toss damage or something.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean that's the toss damage too. Hurts towers, so that's just a ton of push power, especially in the late game. Kind of always think of Tiny sort of like a Pudge who doesn't get as run away with the game as Pudge can. Like Pudge just gets fat and then he just sits on people and they die like late game. Tiny, he's a really strong ganker, but towards the end of the game, that combo doesn't really get much stronger. So he really starts to fall off late. This Aghanim Scepter, I think, really gives him something to do in the late game.
Pudge
Essentially,
gets fat. Is that what you said?
yes.
He doesn't start fat.
Well,
He starts big boned, and then
That's
he just
baby
gets
fat.
at the end. Then he just,
it's baby fat, and then
I'm sorry, but
It's just
Tiny's
kinda-
ability is literally called grow. So
yes, it's the Power Ranger staff. Oh God, what's her name? Who can think of it?
the Asian.
No, the lady with
Oh,
the
the
crazy.
evil one with like the oh, I was just doing it too. The cones.
Yeah, the
I
hat.
don't know her name. It doesn't matter.
She just throws down her staff. He gets bigger, and it's a whole wonderful thing.
Whoa, TMI.
What?
Okay.
I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more tinies picked up since that. I mean, I guess it's not that big of a thing, and I guess a lot of people really aren't thinking of, oh, great, now I can push with tiny. But I think it's a pretty significant change, really,
Well,
or
it
addition.
just gives you a different direction to go. I mean, obviously, you really should build Blink every game. That should be one of your first items, just so you can start snowballing. But then after you get the Blink, I mean, all you really did besides that was go maybe Assault Curious, I guess, or I don't even really
Shiva's guard.
Shiva's Guard, even like a Sheep
I think-
Stick or
support
something.
item of some sort.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, now he could go more of like a bruiser kind of role or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like he does more than just cast those two spells and then auto attack. I don't know.
I saw Dendai playing Tiny in some pub game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was. It looked like he started building his scepter, but he hadn't leveled Grow at all.
Oh.
The game ended before he got it, but I would be interesting to see how that would work. Scepter without any ranks in Grow.
I don't know if I like that at all. I mean,
Because he'd still retain his attack speed,
yeah,
but he'd still get the bonus damage to buildings. It's just interesting. I'm not saying it's good or bad.
it is.
It's just something to think about.
I mean, I mean, not typical, but a lot of times people will skip that ulti and just keep leveling up the toss. What's
Avalanche?
Phew, I was remembering it. They max those out to get the big AoE team fight instead of the. Like, I guess you get Grow if you want to like gank one person, maybe. I don't know. I guess it can go multiple ways.
A lot
I mean,
of people
leveling-
wait to get Grow to 9
Yeah.
after they level their nukes, but they normally get it, but Dendai was level like 14 and didn't have it at all.
Oh. Okay.
Interesting.
When he had the hardened skin.
I don't remember. I don't know. They lost.
Oh.
Oh, that sucks.
Navi.
GG.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about that ulti when we were playing Heroes of the North, there really wasn't any benefit to picking it up, but at least in Dota 2 now, you can get the increased toss damage and movement speed too, which I think are both nice things to get.
Movement speed, it gives that too.
Yes.
Yeah, in Dota 2 it gives 20, 40, 60 movement speed.
What?
Yeah.
A lot.
That's huge.
Oh.
Holy moly.
It's
He's
a
a
lot of movement
fast
speed.
piece of rock. Okay.
Yeah, what's the let's see, let's go check this out. 50 bonus damage, 20 reduced attack speed, damage to oh yeah, and the damage taken by toss units increased 35%, 50%, and 65%.
I knew
Very
that.
good. Well, fine.
I just
I
didn't know
didn't.
the movement speed thing.
Yeah, and then when you scepter it at last rank, the increased damage taken by the toss is 80%. So, pretty big damage boost there.
Wowza.
So I guess that's kind of nice too. I mean, yeah, you do get the tower stuff, the ability to farm a little bit better. I guess you're talking about the cleave. If you're in the middle of team fights, you might be hitting multiple heroes, but it also increases your gank damage too, with increasing the damage toss. So it's still pretty nice.
You got many an option. But you know what's not tiny is that that didn't make any
What?
sense. That was like my transition.
Oh,
You know what's not tiny is wow, actually I just realized what I was saying. Let me just say a different transition. So, now that Silencer is in captain's mode, I want to know your opinions. Do you think he's going to get picked up to counter like certain lineups, like perhaps Enigmas and who knows, like just various lineups, or do you think he's still going to sit on the sidelines? Craig.
What?
Silencer.
Oh, I
Do you
loved it.
think? Did you listen to half of that at least? Or are you just trolling me? I need to put the
maybe.
troll face back on,
There you
or
go.
put it over Ben Stein's face.
What did we talk about Silencer about?
I
Sorry,
was
wasn't paying
asking,
attention.
now that he's in captain's mode, do you think he's going to be picked up to counter certain lineups, or do you think he's still going to just sit on the bench?
I would pick him up to counter, like, what was his name? Enigma? Yeah, Enigma. Like,
As a
that's his favorite
support,
name.
you would pick him up?
Yes. He's not a carry. Get over it.
Oh.
Did you listen to episode 9 at all, Craig? We went through this whole thing about why he's a crappy support hero.
Well, he's also a terrible carry.
Terrible. Hardly.
Explain yourself, good sir. We've got the time.
How many int carries are in the game right now?
Invoker.
Well, I guess it depends on how you define in carry. I mean, you could say Storm Spirits.
That's true. There is Storm Spirit. He is
Pain?
considered a carry.
Nature's Prophet.
There you go.
Prophet. That's another
There's
good-
actually a lot. I play Ancient Apparition as a freaking carry. Probably shouldn't.
Daedalus, Ancient
Well,
Apparition.
yeah. Daedalus is Soul Carriers. What else would you need?
Exactly. Yeah, I guess that's yeah, I guess it depends how you define carry, because Necrolite needs a lot of farm and can take out people pretty quickly, even though he never gets picked up.
I think there's a difference between hard carry and then everything
carry.
else. Like,
Yeah.
hard carry is going to be like you're just sitting in a lane, literally, and just farm all game, which obviously these int heroes are not going to do. Well, Silencer actually would. He would be actually a hard carry in most senses. But, yeah, I do actually agree with you. I'm pretty sure pros would pick him up as a support just because they'd rather have an anti-mage or a faceless or someone else getting all that farm instead.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Silencer is he actually can do a ton of damage, but he's got no escape.
Yeah.
He just dies.
Which is why you build a force staff.
If you listen to episode 9,
Yes.
you would know that that's the item you rush, Craig.
Plug away. BDL.
Right, you can go Force Staff, and then even then it's not a very good escape. But I mean, I guess it is
Not
a
reliable.
escape.
But
Well, then you go Yule's Scepter for the movement speed,
and then you
and
go
for
Ghost
the
Scepter.
disable.
And then you're still
And then you
not-
start building damage items after
Yeah,
that.
and then you start building carry items.
After you do your 3
Well-
survival cores,
Well, all those things give you int, and the force staff will give you damage too, and the int is going to increase your damage output.
That's true.
Just saying. Even though they're not like carry items, they do help him do more damage.
I'm not saying he can't carry. I'm saying you will never. Okay, you won't
Don't say
never.
never.
You don't pick him
Never
up as
say
a carry. I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying you won't pick him up as a carry.
Yeah, I mean,
pros
going back
won't.
to like what we were saying in the last episode, though, it's like he's so level dependent, though. I mean, the last word gets better once you start getting to level 4. I mean, that's when it's really the strongest, the 3 seconds in between spells, and then of course, Global Silence only 3 seconds at rank 1. It's so sad to see him not pick up those levels, and I think in Heroes of New Earth when we saw Vindicator picked up, he wasn't very effective. I don't know.
I'm just gonna make fun of you for a second. And you said when last word gets to level 4, it's at its strongest.
Yes.
I feel like
Facts?
it's kind of redundant.
That usually happens with every ability.
Well, actually, the new hero they're putting in the game is rank 4 ability is half the damage of rank 1. I don't know why, but
I'm just making fun of you for being redundant right there.
it's okay. It happens,
It does.
fortunately, often.
Unfortunately.
most cases. No. There you go. Well, do you guys have
now
any-
he's like, God dang it, I don't even know what I was
I
talking
got
about.
nothing. I got nothing.
I threw him off his game. He doesn't know it's
And
which
then,
way's
okay,
up.
we talked about Silencer. Spirit Breaker. Could he enter the minds of these professional captains? BDLM.
Oh, crap. No, I was already shaking my head. No. I mean, it's just that the charge, I think the biggest part is you can see it coming. I think that's the biggest problem. And if you wind up getting Spirit Breaker trying to charge, and even if you take out the fact that you can't see it coming by the debuff, you can just put wards in strategic areas that you're going to see it. Instead of putting the wards at the river positions, move them slightly up or down so that you can see into the jungle, so you're going to be able to see him charging if he tries to back out of the lane. And of course, these people are going to be calling out as soon as they notice that Spirit Breaker isn't there, and that element of surprise isn't going to be as big of a thing in the professional game. Craig?
Sounds so angry.
I don't think he's a very good hero.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, she's not, and we're going to we do these mirrors all the time, but when we're talking about, like, Heroes of New Earth, which obviously is the closest thing to it, Rampage was the same idea. They changed him so much that I think he when he gained Bat Rider's ultimate, where he can CC someone and drag them, like that made him viable, I think, in Heroes New Earth.
And his Greater Bash wasn't random.
Well,
which was very
RNG
helpful.
is a gift and a curse, I think. It can either be really nice for you or really not, and that's why.
That's the general
I mean,
definition.
well,
I
thank
think.
you. That's what I'm saying. It's a gift and a curse.
Like, Faceless Void and Chronos. Faceless Void stuns better because he builds as a hard carry agility, attack speed.
yeah.
Whereas Spirit Breaker is strength and he needs to build survivability and this won't have a lot of attack speed.
Unless you go Mask of Madness, which you should.
Well, then you're going to be the person on the front line. You're going to be taking a lot of damage. So
No one
It's
goes
like
there.
kind of the thing.
It's like going Mask of Madness on Sven.
Which I do. So it makes a lot of sense.
Since Jay
Well,
is a
Force Staff
professional,
first.
Force
Force Staff
go.
into Mask of Madness,
It
generally.
means Jay likes to troll. That's all that means.
You haven't played with me in a while, but yes, I do. Yes, I do. More recently than
Yeah.
ever.
We've seen that in even with Faceless Void competitively, people are kind of sometimes they like to pick up the Mask Mana, sometimes they don't. It's just for that reason. It's like, well, I want to get the bashes, but then you're so much more vulnerable. And since you're the carry, I mean, obviously that's not as true for Spirit Breaker, but you're putting yourself in a position to do a lot of damage to yourself and be taken out just as quick as you're trying to take out somebody else with that attack
My
speed.
personal opinion is that I think he could fit on a lineup that's very globally gank heavy. When I say that, I'm referring to like if he has Prophet, Ancient Apparition, that kind of thing. Like if you see those kind of heroes on a team, I think he could really mesh well because, like for example, he charges across the map. Nature's Prophet knows about it. TP's in and traps him in the trees when he's in that 3,000 range around there. By that time, that person's screwed now because they can't get out in time.
Interesting thing I learned today, 3,000 range is about the distance between the ramps at the top river and the top Radiant Tower, as I saw Craig actually get ganked by a Spirit Breaker
Oh,
earlier today in a replay. I was like, oh, I wonder when Craig's going to get the debuff, and it was as soon as he got to those ramps. That's
but see, by that time, if you're
there you
coming
go.
from like towards the bottom, you're going lightning speed. So like you barely have time to react at that point.
If you're,
Well-
yeah, I guess if your charge is not that high.
His movement speed doesn't scale like it does in Han.
Oh, it doesn't?
Per level, it changes its movement speed.
Oh, so it doesn't ramp.
Nope.
So is it really fast at the higher range?
At level 4, it's very fast.
It's pretty good,
So
yeah.
you start
Level one,
lightning fast right
really
away?
slow. Yep.
That's even
You just
better.
go max movement
He's
speed
even
right
better
away.
at ganking. There you go. I think he could totally fit in to like a very aggressive gank push team. That's where I would
I
use
don't
him.
know. The thing I did think was interesting, though, too, you think he's a really good buyback hero, too, because he could just buy back TP to a tower that's furthest out and then charge somebody so he can get right back in quickly. But, that for what that's worth. Losing a lot of gold to buy back, but
Yeah, the problem with him is you don't level charge first. You gotta level his movement speed. It gives him all of his attack damage.
And one rank of bash, obviously.
And 1 rank of bash. So you get 1 rank of charge, 1 rank of bash, and 4 ranks of his movement speed and his ult. And by then, you're already level 7.
Well, you don't have to do the movement speed. If you're playing as a super ganker, you don't. You're more for the CC at that point. You're more for the come in there, stun for like 2 or 3 seconds or whatever, and then hope for bash proc or ulti at that point. That's what I said. I
Very
think
true.
he's really useful after 6. Before 6, he's kind of, whatever.
Dead weight.
Yeah, dead weight is a pretty good way to put it.
yeah, I think that's the problem. He doesn't have a lot of the presence that other strength heroes are being picked up do when you get to later on. I mean, the ulti's nice and stuff, and even if you got some, really beautiful, Aghanim Scepter ultis off on Spirit Breaker, it's still not a ton that you're actually providing, especially when you compare it to someone like Slardar, who the AoE has a good initiation with sprint, and then of course the negative armor, which is huge. He just doesn't have anything like that to really make him a powerhouse. If you wanted to go like a gank heavy strength hero, I think Slardar would actually be really good. And if you don't think sprint's fast enough, then go ahead and smoke up and then gank. I mean, I think that would be something better off to do.
Did you like that? Did you hear that?
What were you?
I was
doing?
smoking up. Oh, the joke had
That-
to be made. I mean, I
that
don't know
was
why it
just
took me
terrible.
this long to think of that as a joke. Like, when you said that.
Because it's not funny, maybe. I don't know.
Well, in some people's eyes, it could be.
It could be. I'd like to point out to the nice fellow in IRC, if you have any questions that you'd like to throw out that we could ask Mr. Bonk or just throw out as a general question, you're welcome to go ahead and tippity type those out. Otherwise, though,
I forgot to advertise the IRC channel.
we are in there. Pound Dota On Demand.
I should make that a little subheading
Lowercase.
somewhere on the background here.
Should. It's okay. It's a work in progress.
It is.
But yeah, I can't see Spear Breaker being used, unfortunately. But Silencer, I would like to see it mess with, and I really would like to see it experimented with, not as a support, because again, episode 9.
Yeah,
so much
episode 9's the
about-
definition of how I talk about how awesome it is. And even though I went 0-4 in my first 4 games, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't. Let me put that a different way. It's not the fault of him being a carry. It's everyone else letting me down. But the one thing I can say is you don't want to put him in middle, just for the pure reason that he has 0 gank potential, and you want your middle to at least have some kind of either burst damage or CC to really provide something for the other lanes. Because if you pick up like an Invis Silencer, what's he gonna do? Just like run over and be like, yeah,
Glaive to the
orb
face.
throw. Oh, hope you're dead. Like that's pretty much all you can do. So, I think he really needs to be in either like a solo bottom, maybe with like a Nature's Prophet front. I don't know, some kind of crazy combo where he can just farm all day, get really beefy somehow, and then win the game for you late game.
There you go. Well,
Another
I think
thing
that's. Oh, go ahead,
But
sorry.
Silencer carry is BKB counters him because it disables glaive.
Counter is a strong word. I like the wording that it. Let me think.
It's
I don't
strong
think it
opposition
counters.
to.
It doesn't counter him. It really does make him less effective. But the thing is, you get the BKB like that. First of all, it counters all int heroes. You could say pretty much. But essentially, the more you use it, obviously, it goes down all the way down to 5-second duration, which is at that point like you could pretty much have a Yules, which lasts I think 3.5 seconds, is it? And then if you have a Yules on him and they use BKB, oh, Yules myself. By the time I'm down, it's pretty much over. You know?
Well, yeah,
Or
but I
if you-
think Craig was talking about him as a carry. Then there's all that time where he's not doing his carry damage. He's not
Okay.
getting that benefit.
Yes.
Right.
But
And if you use yourself, that means the other carry is now raping your entire
well, if
team
he's
while you sit
BKB in
there
the first
cyclone.
place, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, you troll. But I'm just thinking, doesn't his ulti not allow you to use items?
No, you can use items.
What?
It's not Doom.
Well, it's an ultimate.
It's not Doom.
Well, Doom
Doom
does
is the
damage.
only spell in the game that disables items.
Well, then
Oh,
I
and,
stand
like,
corrected,
hard
and I'm
CCs.
mad about that because it should do something like that. I don't
Yes.
know. I mean, I personally.
That would just
Well,
that
no,
would
it
just
wouldn't
make
be
him way too
imbalanced.
powerful.
No, it wouldn't be because first of
five-
all,
No, Craig.
A 5
Shut
second-
up, Craig.
I'm pretty sure it's over a 2-minute cooldown. First of all, I think it's 2.5.
Let's check it out,
Why don't
shall
you
we?
check that out while
Still
I'm
do-
going
do-
on
do-
about
do-
my
do-
silencer rant?
you don't need to aim it at all. You just push the button.
Okay, how many
160
ultis do you
seconds.
press a button? There's quite a few. Actually, all of them you press a button. I'm almost certain of that, except for
But you have to aim
Tiny.
them.
Maybe he's the only exception you don't press a button. Okay, yeah, you aim a lot of them. But you're getting me off topic. The point is that, he really, that silence is his whole purpose, essentially.
Yep.
I mean, the aura, you can argue that it's good. I mean, it is, but only against certain heroes that Cat need to cast multiple times. For example, he is very effective against Invoker. There's one example. Other ones like Queen of Pain, Earthshaker. I could go on and on all day. But the point is, his aura is only good against certain heroes. Obviously, carries, it's very worthless. His Q, let's not go there because it just disappoints me in so many ways. It's only effective in the first 15 minutes of the game, and then after that, it really doesn't do anything, which is pretty sad. But I don't know. I also like that his orb is that nice magic damage, because I really think that can really, since first of all, it scales throughout the game based on your int, which if you're good at killing people somehow, as him,
Somehow.
you steal intellect with that if they're in your aura presence. You steal intellect. So you get even stronger. And they lose that one int. So then they're screwed.
I'm sorry, I'm on Craig's team since he
Well,
mentioned the
you guys are
BKB.
Team Edward over there, and I'm just. What team is Silencer on? He's on his own team. He's on a whole new level. So.
There you go. He's that good.
Do what suit your way.
There you go. All right. Well, obviously, we're I think running out of things to talk about in this lovely Invoker guy, as we've
Oh.
actually started talking about
Hold
other
on.
things to do with other
Hold
things.
on, there's
Go
a
ahead,
final
Bonk. What do you
talk.
got?
Let him say something.
Did you know that you can get Scepter on X?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Are you
Did
serious?
you
Wow.
watch episode 9, Craig?
Craig,
Maybe you
No,
should.
was that
Episode
on
9.
episode 9?
Please.
It was. I went on this whole thing
Man.
about how I want to try it out. Actually, that was one thing I wanted to mention earlier on, because you
Yeah.
actually had mentioned Craig. Because I was like, oh, I want to build the tranquil boots on him because I like the early movement speed you get on him. But you're like, no, you got to go arcane boots because then you can't do like your whole combo with the blink dagger. And I was like, yeah, that's an interesting thing. The other thing too, though, was I tried this past week getting the point booster to start building the Aghanim Scepter, and I actually thought that was a decent amount of mana that would allow you to combo up and then still have enough mana to be able to do other things. I mean, what do you think about because the Scepter decreases the cooldown to 7 seconds now, so it's something you can open a fight with and close it. So he has, some extra damage in there. I think
Open it.
it's 7 seconds long. You blink in, you ulti, you
Isn't it
taunt.
like, what, 200? What's the damage if you don't kill him?
It's 250, I think.
You can, but that's even lower than most nukes. I don't know.
Well, right, but I mean that's the whole point of the.
Well, you would have to go
Zap-
very mana heavy build then.
It deals 300 damage.
You'd have
Last
to
turn.
get probably arcane boots and then some kind of regen or something. I think.
Well, if you have the staff finish, then you have the mana given from the point booster, and then also from the Rod of Wizardry. So,
think
I mean,
Craig's siding with
I-
me on that.
I just
I
go
haven't
arcane
tested
boots
that.
because I spam battle hunger. I pretty much whatever lane I'm supporting. If you're bottom because you're radiant, I just like battle hunger is amazing. It's like his best move by a landslide.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
I
just
definitely
kinda-
agree. Just because you can use it on creeps and heroes, which is why it's so good. And counter helix is gift and a curse, RNG. That's just like my new
Random.
phrase, gift and a curse. It's actually a yellow card song too, but let's not go there.
That was
Because
a
everyone's
terrible
gonna
thing
make
you
fun
just
of me.
said.
I shouldn't have said that. I should have kept that to
Nope.
myself. But every time I said it, I kept thinking about the song. So
That
it's
should have been a
unfortunate.
little personal thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that back
stayed
in my
inside
pocket
you.
here, so no one remembers that. Yeah, no, Battle Hunger obviously good thing, but we're not gonna get back on him because that was episode 9. So sorry you missed it, buddy. Next time you'll actually catch up, do a little research. Thanks.
Maybe you should tune in to Dota On Demand from
Also,
time to
did
time.
you see in our IRC channel a viewer wants
did.
to play with us?
There you go. I was actually thinking it might be interesting. We do these breakdowns sometimes after games. I know Bonk has been nice enough to sit with us even though he's been sick. But it might even be fun to just do a breakdown, see if we can get Bonk this Invoker guy, and just talk about him some more in that context. I mean, are you down for that?
No, I hate you.
Good answer.
Dude, I
Good
do
answer.
too. Yes. I'm not alone.
There you go. We can get this Toby's guy in there.
There you go.
Get Craig on Invoker, and then there you go. We break it down. Hope you like the spotlight, Mr. Toby's.
Oh, and one more thing before you do any kind of closing.
Okay.
I'm going to actually next time have the channel listed here so people know they can join. But like we said, we've said many times, try to join our RSC channel when we're doing these casts. We're going to be live every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Show up Eastern Standard Time. We'd love to take questions from you guys. If you have anything you want to talk about or us to talk about. Also, check us out both on OWN TV, which is obviously what we're streaming on right now, but also on YouTube. We have a channel there. Both are Dota On Demand, all one word. And, okay, I think that's all I want to say.
Excellent. Other things you can do too if you want to be part of this conversation, but you maybe can't get on Tuesday, go ahead and shoot us an email at dotaondemand@gmail.com. We can get a little question segment going on the beginning to get you guys in this conversation as much as possible. As I said earlier, hopefully by next week, we will be able to get the podcast up on iTunes. It's me having to deal with somebody else trying to get that going. So thanks for being patient with us. I know a lot of people have been asking about it, so hopefully that can get up soon. Our website is in development, currently being worked on, so that's something else we can look forward to. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope to catch you here for more podcasts on Tuesday, and also please check out our breakdowns as well. Peace.